Welcome to the Soul Script podcast. Here we explore how to unlock the power of our story. Our journey here on earth can be one of deep passion, intentional creation, and personal transformation. The only thing holding us back is our stories. Come and join me as we rewrite and reignite. So have you guys heard that Taylor Swift song? The one that goes like this. Karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a god. Karma is the breeze in my hair on the weekend. Yeah, you know the one that I'm talking about. If you don't, then I'm pretty sure you have been living under a rock. Even if you don't like Taylor Swift, you've probably heard this song before, even if it's for the length of time that it takes you to push skip or change the radio station. So the reason why I bring this up today is because we're going to talk about karma today. This has been coming up for me personally as some of my karma is coming back around. So backstory. I've told this backstory a few times, so I'll keep it short. But essentially, for the last 4 years, maybe 5 years, I have been busting my butt, especially, I don't know if actually busting my butt is the way to do it. There have been moments of busting my butt, but I have been running away from things in the form of a lot of travel, like a ton of travel, to the point where last year I was gone from home more than I was at home. And I think the year before that, we had to start implementing the rule that we had to have at least 1 week. You know, if we were gone one weekend, the next weekend we had to be home before we could, go on another trip. And that's because we would go on a trip, we'd get home, try to fit all of work in, try to unpack and repack for the next trip and go that weekend. And our summers just get jam-packed full of trips and, whether that's camping or traveling the world or whatever it may be, we just we're killing ourselves with travel. Even though we love to travel, we loved every minute of it. It was not great on my physical health or my mental health, and my stress levels were through the roof. I would just collapse, and my cortisol levels were so high, outrageously high. And it got to the point that I was physically dying. My body was saying, Laura, we have to stop this. And so over this winter, I decided to rest. I decided to hibernate. And we went to Costa Rica for a month, which honestly wasn't stressful at all for me. There were moments of stress, leading up to it. We had to pack, make sure everything was in order, getting there and seeing your house and figuring out how it was going to function and how I was going to homeschool the kids. Things like that were stressful. But while we were there, it consisted of walking the beach multiple times of the day and swimming in the pool every day and resting and chilling and having 10 hours of sleep every night and just immersing ourselves in nature. So it was restful. And then when I got back from Costa Rica, I really made it very important and put it highest on my priority to rest. So I went into hibernation. We didn't travel at all. We made the holidays very simple. I continued to get 10 hours of sleep. My gym workouts were minimal, just really soft movements. And I put my health as a priority. And I have seen monumental changes, huge decreases in all the discomfort that I was feeling, bloating, gas was an everyday occurrence, headaches, migraines, seizures, constipation, let's see what else, achy bones and joints, fatigue. The list just goes on and on and on, and basically all of those have gone away. I mean, at least have drastically improved. And so I've been in this hibernation mode, and April is sneaking up on me, and April is the time that I have to come out of hibernation. And that is because we go to Texas on a big long road trip to see the solar eclipse. I have 4 days after Texas to get unpacked and packed to be able to go to Morocco, where I'll be for a couple weeks, and then over to Spain, where I'll be for a week. So I will be gone for an entire, basically 5 weeks. And I was terrified, have been terrified, as April is coming up, and it came up so fast for me. And the reason why essentially I was terrified of this coming up is because I was so scared that it would equal just crazy amounts of stress, that it would equal my health going back downhill. And, I kept telling myself, oh, I gotta push, I gotta get better before I go, which is kind of counterintuitive. It's like opposite of what I needed to do. But I have felt all this fear because it equaled in my mind that I was just going to be stressed out and that my body was going to go downhill and I would experience more health issues. Well, we're manifesting all the time, right? And I was definitely focusing on that stress and how that stress was going to come up, and I was so scared of it. So of course, that was what I was imagining and manifesting. And here we are. It is like 5 days until I have to leave, and my schedule up until when we leave is so slammed full with things that, one of those tasks per day would take up the vast majority of my energy. And now I have 3 of those things per day that I have to do. And, I said yes to things that I shouldn't have said yes to. And now I'm in this situation where, guess what? I have super high stress levels, the very thing that I wanted to avoid. And I just kept thinking, oh, I was so scared of this. This is what I was so scared of. And of course, it's happening. How could I have done this to myself? And then the thought about karma popped into my mind. And I remembered something that my guest on episode 21 said to me about karma. He essentially said that karma is just a circle, and what goes around comes around. So we just continue going in this cycle is essentially what it is. And when we come back around in this cycle, we simply get to choose whether we're going to keep going around in the cycle or whether we're going to break free of that cycle. And that thought came into my mind, and I was like, oh, so this is coming back around again. And I get to choose to go around on this cycle again, or I get to choose to go out of this cycle or this circle that's going around and round and around and has been for the last 5 or so years. Well, I still have just as much things that I have to get done before I go. I can't really change that. Yeah, I could get rid of, no, actually I can't. I can't even get rid of some stuff. All of it I have to do before I go. So I can't really change that right now. And maybe I can choose to say no to things in the future, but I need to keep my commitment now. But what I can choose to do is do all of these things from a place of rest, which has been a big focus for me. When I started Soul Script, I made the promise to myself that I was going to create in a place of rest, and I was going to honor my boundaries, my health, my mental health, my physical health, the health of my relationships, and that I was going to make sure that I made that a foundational part about how I'm moving forward. So this has been big on my mind, when I get to the point where I'm like, oh no, I'm getting stressed out or filling my schedule too much. I'm like, okay, hold on. Let's take a step back and let's come at this from a place of rest. So here I am. I'm in a stressful situation. Now, I can't always run away from stressful situations, right? You can't run away from it. I can't run away from it. This is life. Stressful situations come up, but we then get to decide how we're going to act in those situations. Actually, in the previous episode, we talked about victimhood and how external things can happen to us and we get to decide if we're going to be a victim to it or not. So this seems very fitting, but here I am in a stressful situation and I get to decide what I'm going to do now. Am I going to honor that I'm going to do it from a place of rest or not? And all it is it's this simple mindset shift where I have all these things to do and I center myself and I take a deep breath and I calm down and I don't worry about it all. I just let it fall into place, because when I'm working from a place of rest, I am more in alignment with my human design. I'm in alignment with the flow of the universe, and I'm putting trust in myself and my higher power. And so I'm working from a place of rest. And actually, one of the things that I needed to do was record another podcast episode so that I can have them all lined up before I go, that we don't miss a week, which is a commitment that I made to myself. So I'm choosing to break out of this karmic cycle. I'm choosing to choose a different route. And I'm going to move forward with the next 5 or so days in a place of rest, in a place of calm, a place of being centered. And I think it feels good. It feels good already. And I'm excited to see how it continues and what pans out. And maybe I'll have to report back to you guys how it ended up working out for me. But I feel like this is something that was an aha moment for me of what karma really is. It's just a cycle. It's coming back around, and you get to choose whether you're going to ride that ride again or you're going to get off and ride a better ride. So I challenge you to move forward with your week or your month and look at the karma that's coming around. You know, one thing that I've seen a lot in society is, I always get sick. I always get sick. And it does come around in these cycles. Well, what are you going to do differently this time so that you don't get sick next time? Or, you know, whenever you have that thought of, this always happens to me, that's a really good indicator of some karma coming back around. And what are you going to choose differently? Thank you so much for joining me on this transformative journey today. If you found this episode inspiring and thought-provoking, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share with someone in your life who's ready to embrace their own hero's journey. Speaking of transformation, if you're looking for personalized guidance to rewrite your life's narrative and ignite your true potential, be sure to explore our one-on-one transformation coaching services at soulscriptstudio.com. Your support makes a world of difference. Until next time, keep rewriting and reigniting your story.